All right, what is going on, guys? Scars here, or Brian, whatever you'd like to call me. And guys, I have a super exciting video today. I'm so happy to meet the man, the myth, the legend, Eric. Also on YouTube, known as Unlock Philippines. He does some other content as well. But guys, I am so excited to be doing this video because this is also known as the man who confronted the POS Vitaly, who was wreaking havoc here in the Philippines over the last couple days. And first of all, can we just get a round of applause? He's arrested. He's out of here. We're getting him out of this country. So thank God for that. But I really wanted to take this opportunity to just interview the man who was saying everything we all wanted to say or was thinking, but before we even get into any of that, let's just focus on Eric as a person, right? First of all, Eric, so nice to meet you, man. Such a great opportunity to, get to talk to you about this situation, right? But I also want to first of all ask you, man. You're obviously making a YouTube video or YouTube channel, rather, I should say, regarding your life here in the Philippines. First of all, where are you from, and why did you come to the Philippines, and why did you decide to live here?
So I am from Las Vegas. I grew up on the East Coast though, so New York.
Shout out New
But
York.
shout out New York. I do miss the pizza, but there's a couple spots here in the Philippines that they're getting close. So I'm not without pizza for very long. But
Yeah.
um, as far as why I came here to the Philippines and what I'm doing here, so I do quite a few things in my free time. I like to make content traveling. So one of the first channels that I started on TikTok is actually called Unlock Thailand. And I did that more as a hobby. I went out there 2 years ago and I stayed only for 3 months. And during that time, I started documenting just the stuff I was seeing. And it's really as simple as pulling out my phone, recording, and uploading to TikTok, and just sharing with people what it's like traveling, especially if you've never been outside of the country. That was my first time leaving America, and I went straight to Thailand. So I did return back home for a couple of years, and you just get that itch. If you're back home in the States after you've been overseas to Asia, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah. Totally agree.
So I came out here, just decided I wanted to deep dive into living in Asia for a longer period of time. So my plan is to stay here in the Philippines for a minimum of 1 year and see what happens during that time. Um, I've been learning software development, specifically developing AI applications. And one of the really interesting posts I came across before I decided to come here to Manila was that this specific city is full of so many programmers, people in IT, just really well versed and savvy in tech.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what I'm looking to do while I'm here is actually be able to teach the locals how to develop AI apps if they're looking to learn. And then I've been working on some software myself that I want to go ahead and release and provide some more jobs to the locals here.
Yeah, it's fantastic, man. This is just another example, guys, right, of someone who's, coming to the Philippines doing good for the community, right, for the people. It reflects obviously in his life being here so far and his opportunity or the opportunities rather he's giving to the locals of the country. So that's really great to hear. And AI, as I've said to many of my students, anyone who's watching my channel, by the way, you guys know I already teach English online, or I've mentioned it a few times. So, being able to, talk to so many students about how AI has impacted their industry, right? This is just another great example of how progressive AI technology has become, especially in the IT industry. So that's really great to hear. So now, just to clarify too, man, how long have you been out here in the Philippines so far? I'm not sure if you mentioned it.
I touched down in Manila on February 25th, so it's been just a little bit
All
over a month
right.
for me.
We got a newbie in the Philippines. All right, right on, man. Yeah, I before this interview too, we were talking about the humidity here too. How's that going, especially from being in the bone dry desert of Vegas? How are you adjusting?
Uh, I mean, I'm losing weight from sweating everything I could possibly. I
Just
mean,
standing outside.
yeah. So I'm I'm trying to figure out ways to cope with sweating so much when I'm outside of the house. Thank God for air conditioning. Like
Oh
it's
man, I'm
so
telling
amazing
you.
here.
Oh man, I'm from Florida, so I'm kind of used to the humidity, but man, I'm telling you, it's brutal sometimes here because here in the Philippines, right, there's only two seasons. We only have the wet season and dry season. And, calling it dry season is kind of not really is kind of doing injustice because it's still quite wet, throughout the entire year. I mean, literally, you could walk outside, right, completely sunny, clear skies. 5 minutes later, pouring down rain. So weather here is very, I guess you could say, static. It never really changes. So yeah, anyone who's coming to the Philippines, or quite frankly, almost anywhere in Southeast Asia, you better get used to the humidity. It's definitely not. It's not easy for everyone to adjust to. So I totally can relate. And I was also telling Eric I was living, in Vegas for 4 years as well. So I kind of have that experience between both climates also. So yeah, right on, man. Though, but yeah, between your travels in Thailand, right, as you said, going back to the U.S., as you said, getting that itch to want to come back and travel, I totally relate with you. I've been between three countries myself living, so Vietnam, Peru, and now here in the Philippines. It's been really, really wonderful. So, obviously, you've discussed a little bit about what you're doing here in the Philippines. Also, tell everyone. First of all, what do you think about the culture, the people, the food, everything you've experienced so far?
So my favorite thing about Asia in general, obviously my first experience was over in Thailand, but here it's the same exact thing. People are extremely welcoming. They're friendly. One of my favorite things that I've been trying to learn is the local language here, which I'm terrible at, but
It's
everyone
hard.
is
Yeah.
always so willing to teach you. And the thing that I like about Asia, the way I would compare it is, when you were a kid and you would at some point you'd go to a playground and there's other kids playing tag,
Mm-hmm.
and you didn't have to talk to them about what the rules were. Like you could just go start playing with the other kids at the playground, and there's this unspoken set of rules that's like, we're here to have fun, we're here to enjoy the environment, and
Absolutely.
there's not a bunch of stress involved. That's what it feels like being an adult in Asia. Everybody here is in a good mood. They're willing to invite you to share really great experiences.
Mm-hmm.
It's extremely easy to make friends here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very different from what I'm used to in America. Everyone in America, not trying to talk down on them, but it is like
Yeah.
when you come here to Asia, everyone's super happy, and then if you go back home, it's like you see the Grinch everywhere. Everyone's really
Absolutely.
kind of just grumpy all the time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree, man. Yeah, it's just this very, and as I've said in my last video, guys, just this very laid back culture, and it's a good and bad thing because when you're trying to get things done quick, right? You're trying to get errands done. Don't be surprised you're waiting an hour just to get one simple thing done sometimes, right? So patience is really so key in this country. But if you're a patient person naturally, as I've said before, man, it's so easy to adjust to the lifestyle here, and it really shows with the people, right? The people are just so easy to talk to, whether again it's platonically, romantically, whatever it is. It's just a great country and great vibes all around for sure. So, it's great to hear, you have that similar experience, obviously, right, with the people and just how great they are. Now, obviously, the main thing a lot of people are also wanting to click on this video for is the confrontation, right? Just to give some backstory, right? If nobody knows, I've said the word, the acronym POS, right? I don't want to get demonetized on YouTube, but Vitaly, which, as some of you guys who may know him, and I feel sorry for anyone who's known of his name, because he doesn't even deserve any recognition. Originally was known for making prank videos, right? He's kind of had this reputation, for some entertaining content back in the day, but he kind of quickly became unhinged and, started doing more deliberate, degenerate, arrogant behavior or creating arrogant behavior in public, and has had his rounds, in the public eye through, his criminal case of assault on a woman in Florida. If anyone ever, watched that news story or remembers that, and then just this continuous degenerate behavior. And now it's trickling here into Southeast Asia, which, by the way, guys, Vitaly's not the first person to do it. There's been multiple other channels, streamers, content creators. As I said, I really don't like to even give them that title, but they're coming to these countries and creating havoc and disrespect, blatant disrespect, and quite frankly, breaking the law here in Southeast Asia. But obviously, for you guys who are watching the video, Eric is the man who confronted one of these people in public, right? And especially in a country like here in the Philippines, which some of you guys who are expats actually living here, have probably been here a long time, and to see this kind of behavior is really shocking. So, Eric, how about you give a little bit of a story regarding how you even saw Vitaly, or how you knew he was where you were, and what exactly happened?
So this kind of all started because there is a content creator that I follow named Atozi, and he puts out videos on these guys, like degenerates, people
Mm-hmm.
basically farming negative attention. But the sad part is that unfortunately on social media that does equate to money in their pocket, which
Mm-hmm.
um, I think that that should be subject to change in the future. But as far as how I came across this POS and what he was doing to the locals, a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people were making videos breaking down what was going on. And so I had been following Atozi because he was covering another creator, Johnny Somali.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're familiar with him, he's been doing this for much longer, but in South Korea. So I saw a video pop up that explained that Vitaly was here in the Philippines doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it got on my radar. And the thing that's not wise is that these guys live stream their location basically 24/7.
Mm,
And so
yeah.
I'm sitting here at the apartment and I saw him go live and I saw he was messing with people. And I just always told myself that, hey, if you see something, say something.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm only a 5 minute drive away from where this guy was.
Yeah.
So he goes live, he's broadcasting publicly where he is, and I hopped in it's called a grab here, and went down there, and that's where the video kicks off of me actually confronting him.
Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, for those of you guys watching, Grab is kind of our version of Uber in the West, by the
But
way.
it's
So,
way
yeah,
cheaper than
way
the West.
cheaper.
Like,
Absolutely.
oh
Yeah,
man.
totally agree. Actually, in Peru,
Yeah.
it was even cheaper. They have Uber in Peru, by the way, but it's even cheaper than the Philippines is for Grab, believe it or not. But either way, yeah, if you look at the price comparison, Philippines and U.S. for taxis, it's day and night difference, right?
For
So,
context, you can get across town where it takes you 35 minutes to
mm,
travel in a car
mhm.
for about $3 or $4 American here, which is amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah, very, very affordable. So again, Southeast Asia, for anyone who's wanting to come out, if you make US dollars, right, or euros, whatever, definitely affordable option, right, to come out and travel and really just enjoy your time. But anyways, don't getting sidetracked on that. Going back to the confrontation, obviously, you got out of the taxi, right? Um, some of us have watched the VODs, right, or the full raw videos, obviously, of your confrontation. It seems like initially when you were coming up, I wasn't sure if your intention was to already, call him out on his behavior, but you kind of mentioned in the beginning, some of the positive things maybe he's done in the community, which, obviously there's a lot of speculation he's just doing to try to cover his degenerate behavior as well, right? But you kind of mentioned some of the positive things, or why he wasn't getting more recognized for the positive things he was doing. Was that kind of just a way to initiate the conversation, do you think? Or, I mean, at some point, obviously, you were wanting to say what everyone else was thinking, right?
So, in my personal experience, when you're approaching someone that's kind of unhinged like that, it's
Yeah.
best to offer them something that their ego can kind of feed on. And
Yeah.
so To be honest, later in the interaction, you can see that I called him out because he
Hmm.
had said, "Oh, I've spent 20K on the locals since I got here," and I said that doesn't negate all of the bad stuff you've done. So interacting with someone who is they seem to be very full of themselves. I find that the best way to approach that person is to give them a little bit of validation so that, he doesn't just say F off and kind of run down the street,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it did work. So the way I approached him was just, uh, that was more to disarm him. And I wanted to start the conversation off like, hey, what have you been doing here in the Philippines? That's good. And immediately when he started kind of dismissing that, that's when
Yeah.
I decided, well, let's actually bring up what you're really doing here, which is disgusting behavior. And
Hmm.
so anyone that's seen the video can kind of see that shift happen. And there's a moment in the video where you can see me kind of switch from more casual to kind of like, what is this guy doing? I was speaking to him and he asks me if you're on meth.
Question over and over again. Are you on crystal meth too?
Two? I don't do drugs, brother.
I didn't do drugs too. I'm saying two because everybody's on crystal meth here. That's what I said. You're on crystal meth too?
Yes.
And immediately I just like double taked and thought to
Mm.
myself,
Yeah.
wow, this guy is extremely rude in person. And
Hmm.
so interacting with him, unfortunately, I didn't like giving him even the tiny shred of validation for the good things that he has done that are perceived as good.
Right.
Um, but I am happy that it allowed me to uh, voice a very important message to all of his viewers, and not only that, but all of the people seeing the video coming out afterwards.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting too because kind of before these and by the way, I don't know if he was traveling to other countries before this doing this kind of content, right? As we said, but I feel like in some ways he was never on a full redemption arc. Obviously, he wasn't going to fully redeem himself from a lot of the criminal activities done in the past, especially the assaulting incident, right, on that woman, which was just horrible, obviously.
Yeah,
But at some point he was making content that was actually somewhat good for society, which was catching predators, right, who were online to meet underage children and meeting them at a decoy house and actually creating content that was actually good in some ways, right? I'm just so confused as to how he goes from that, right, to shift into this disrespectful behavior in public and why he thinks that's a good idea. I don't know if he's just doing it for shock value or what the case is, but it obviously completely backfired on him. So what do you think is the reason for that? Why would he go from something that actually was kind of positive for a lot of people to just complete degeneracy?
he actually tried to mention that in my interaction with him. He said, I catch pedophiles.
When you're up on top, everyone wants to bring you down. It's the same thing with my pedophile catches. Everyone thinks they're fake. Oh, they're all real.
I mean, that's a very good thing to do.
Yeah, but wait.
And
Mhm.
I told him, I was like, that's always a good thing. I'll always advocate for that.
Right.
However, immediately I followed up with, but that doesn't address anything that you're doing here.
Yeah.
And so the reason why, I mean, money is a drug, attention is a drug. And so if his channel isn't getting as much views, these people, they go, okay, what can I do to increase the amount of clicks on my page? And unfortunately, people are finding out that you can do a lot of good and make good content and you'll get wholesome, honorable views, in my opinion, or you can act like this guy and just be a complete degenerate
Mm,
and you'll still get views. I did come to find out that his stream was full of people that fully supported him. They were
absolutely.
telling him things like, you should put the camera down, get in a fight with this guy, and just they came after me on all of my channels after saying very nasty things, but it
Mm,
is what it is.
hmm.
As far as why he's doing it, I think it's just desperation. And on top of that, uh, I wouldn't put it as too far fetched that he might be experiencing some sort of manic type of thing where you have
Hmm.
um, sometimes attention, like it's hard to deal with. It gets to your head, and it seems like he's let this inflate his ego to the point where you need to be humbled by life. I'm not talking about by me approaching you in the street if you're being a POS, but in general, if you go too long without exposure to real consequences for your actions, people, they start to think they're untouchable and they're above it all. And I mean, we're all human, we all make mistakes, but I think it's very helpful for someone that's in his position to experience a reality check every once in a while. And
Yeah.
as far as what's going on with him, I there's so much speculation that he could be on substances. I mean,
Right.
something's not right. Just from my interaction with him in person, he's very I'm trying to think of the word. He's sporadic and
Mm-hmm.
um, like kind of all over the place. And so it was definitely not exactly how I expected it to go. I didn't approach that thinking, okay, I'm gonna physically get in a fight with this guy, but I did figure that
Sure.
maybe he would have the decency to respond to all of the media circulating about all of the bad stuff he's been doing here in the Philippines.
Absolutely. Well, and he's totally dismissed any of his wrongdoings. In fact, if I can find the photo, guys, I'll try to include this mugshot photo of him actually from, I believe, today, or by the time this video is going out, maybe tomorrow on my channel. But I mean, guys, he's smiling in the photo, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it
in his mug
obviously
value.
reflects on no accountability whatsoever. And by the way, guys, as someone who's been living here in the Philippines for over a year, and quite frankly, just the hospitality of Southeast Asia. As I've said before, I've also lived in Vietnam. Guys, people here in this region are super forgiving people, right? But they never forget. They never forget. So, whether it's a good action or a bad action, they never forget those things, right? I live in kind of a very local area here in Cebu City. I don't live in a typical condominium. I don't have that kind of money. I'm not rich anymore, but I'm living in a very local area, and so there's a lot of locals who live here, and every time I go out, there's someone who says, "Hey, Brian, how are you?" And I don't even know who they are, right? So that really shows you that people absolutely communicate with each other about things that they see, right? And luckily, in my case, I have a great reputation with all my neighbors and people who live here, have total respect for everybody, always telling everyone good morning, good afternoon, good evening, right? Sometimes I hang out with some of the kids or guys who are out there playing basketball, right? We like to play ball. And if anyone comes to the Philippines, basketball is super popular out here, guys. So, guys, it's really not hard to just be a normal, respectful person. So, in this case, it's absolutely not far fetched to say that Vitaly probably is dealing with a combination of some kind of substance abuse, and certainly some kind of I would absolutely think drug induced manic psych disorder of some sort. I mean, we have evidence in the past that he was on substances when he's, for example, the woman that he assaulted and other activities that he's been involved in. There's no denying that he's been on substances before, right? Whether or not he
I,
is
I
here or
do want to
not, who
make a
knows?
point.
Yeah, go ahead.
Even if he's not on a substance,
Yeah.
I think that he's experiencing some sort of disconnect from how reality works because of the
Mm,
fact that when you get into that state of mind, like a manic state,
mm-hmm.
and you're running around doing that, like something's got to be going on. Because people in their right minds, they're respectful. And so seeing someone behaving like that, it's like, all right, this guy needs to be separated from people for a while. And genuinely, he needs to get some sort of help, whatever that looks like. I do hope that the police here, they, at least keep him in the jail for a little while so that if he's on something, he can sober up.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, totally
life
agree.
catches up to you quick. And in those moments of solitude, when you're not connected to all of your devices and you actually sit down and reflect, I think that's what helps people after they've acted like a complete idiot.
Mm-hmm.
It helps them realize, hey, maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Like, really
Mm-hmm.
rethink your life at that point.
Absolutely. And especially, guys, when you're in someone else's country, I mean, come on. You're the foreigner in someone else's country. What gives you the right to go out and do these things in public? I mean, in general, you wouldn't do it in your home country. Why would you go up to security guards, start taking their hats, running off, right?
Yeah,
Intentionally,
in
creating
in
havoc.
Vegas, that would equate to the police,
Oh
showed
man,
up at your
Metro
house
doesn't mess around in
several hours
Vegas.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Metro Police doesn't mess around in Vegas. Let me tell you guys. But it's just it's creating this sense of entitlement because some people come here doing this kind of doing these kinds of activities, think they can get away with it, right? Because they know the hospitality in these cultures are extremely warm, friendly, and they are generally very non-confrontational in these situations, right? But guys, as I've said in one of my last videos too, this evolution of technology, social media, right? Everything is broadcasted and everyone knows where you are at any given time, right? So obviously, if you are broadcasting you being a complete degenerate in public, and especially when you're a larger content creator, yeah, the law is going to catch up on you. The Bureau of Immigration, right, which is the immigration department that is responsible for our visa status, absolutely catches wind of it very quickly, right? Any small news story can ignite into a much bigger news story. And in this case, look, he was here for 2 or 3 days. He's already in jail and he's going to be blacklisted and deported. So he will not legally be able to come back to the Philippines. And good riddance. We don't need people like that in this country, especially for the guys who have been living here for long periods of time. He ruins that image for the rest of us in some way, right? Luckily, this is an extreme minority, rare situation, but we're speaking about it because it's just completely unacceptable behavior. But listen, man, I just also want to say, Eric, that your way of handling the situation was completely done with dignity, grace, right? Also, very bluntly said, right? You called him a POS, right?
You're harassing me
I'm
now.
calling you out for being a piece of shit.
Okay, I am a piece of shit. Congratulations.
And you were saying what everybody else wanted to say if they were in that situation. And to be honest, you were a little too nice about it, probably. There is absolutely someone who would have thrown hands on him. But, your case, my case, right? Since we live here, we have business here. I'm in a relationship with the local here. Obviously, I don't want to be, I don't want that situation or that opportunity taken away from me. So, yeah, total respect to you, man. And yeah, if anyone watches the VOD or the video, I'll try to include a couple clips throughout this video, guys. But uh, these kinds of people, right, coming to these countries, creating this kind of behavior, is really just something that should not be given the spotlight. Obviously, it should be a lesson, right, to other people who are wanting to come here and do these things. Maybe don't do it, right? Because it catches up with you. But yeah, Eric, I just want to say, man, such a great opportunity to, get to learn a little bit, first of all, about your life, right? Why you're even out here in the first place. But, in this very rare situation, right, which most people will never get the opportunity to do, right? Confronting someone who's just a complete menace, to society is just a wonderful that someone spoke up about it. And you were the man who did it. So total respect to you, man. So tell everyone, by the way, what are your future plans for your channel, and what do you plan to do out here in the Philippines?
So I do tend to make content showcasing the areas that I stay in. So I really like making content about stuff that you can visit. A lot of my friends here in the Philippines that I've met because of this, they do like to make content more on the locals. And so I'm going to be exploring a mix of different content about the people here, the places here, stuff to do. And like I said, I work in AI and tech. So at some point, I'd like to start putting out some educational videos on if you're looking to learn how to be a software developer and hop on the massive train that is AI that's launching right now. I
Absolutely.
do want to show people how to do that. And so I'm planning to put out quite a few free videos on just learning the basics and understanding just how easy it is to create software that automates a process for companies and that allows you to make money if you're a digital nomad or if you're just needing to up your income and your net worth as a person. So overall, the type of content on my channel might change, but the message behind it is I just want to show people different flavors of life and also how to level up their life in any way possible.
Yeah, right on, man. That's so wonderful to hear. Guys, we need more people like Eric here in the Philippines, man, right? Guys who are actually out here to make a difference, to the country, right? Create a positive, uplifting, mindset, right? Creating just a good, positive message to society, right? That there is good in the world, right? And that we can overcome the bad as well. So, Eric, I just want to first of all say, man, such an honor to get to meet you today. This hopefully is a very strong message to those who want to come to, quite frankly, anyone's country, right? When it's not your home country, but especially here in Southeast Asia, that if you come out here with this kind of behavior, right, that you think you're going to get away with your degeneracy, you better think twice about it, maybe 3 times, because it will catch up with you. So, Eric, any last words for the people watching?
Uh, I have some words for those of you that are thinking about visiting other countries. Uh, Hopefully, you don't let this idiot deter you from coming and checking out these places. Everyone
Yeah,
is so super welcoming and helpful. So, one thing I'd like to say to those of you that have never traveled and are thinking about it, do it. It's so affordable to book a ticket and go somewhere, and the people there will certainly help you get the lay of the land. And if you're looking to learn more about um, how to function in different countries, just check out the expats that have been living there. And then to the locals, I just want to say thank you so much for all of the support and loving messages. You
absolutely.
guys have been absolutely amazing, and I'm so honored to be here in the Philippines.
Yeah, shout out Filipinos, guys. Right. If any Filipinos are watching the video on my channel as well, you guys have been wow. I mean, my life has changed so much being in your country. I'm so happy to be here over the last year and all the wonderful, wonderful experiences I've had. It really makes me not want to go back. Back to the States. I know at some point I will have to, but I'm enjoying the wave of life. And Eric, thank you so much, man, for all the positive, amazing messages, right? That you've been given to people out there, right? That it is okay to come out here and enjoy yourself, right? Don't let these POS degenerate people come here and ruin that for you. So, Eric, thank you so much, and everyone who's watching the video on my channel, thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys have any questions for Eric or for myself, anything you want to add to this, please leave it in the comments below. Subscribe to Eric, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Peace.